All right! Gather round, you morbid little historical voyeurs. I'm your midnight meme historian, and today we're diving headfirst into the cesspool of royal deaths. The kind that make you wonder if the cosmos just slapped humanity across the face with a wet fish. Forget glorious battles or noble sacrifices. We're talking about the truly cringeworthy ways power-drunk buffoons checked out, turning their majestic exits into history's punchline. If you think your life's a mess, just wait until you see how these emperors, kings, and queens manage to botch the one thing everyone gets right eventually. Dying. Are you ready for some utterly pathetic ends? Let's kick this off with a classic. King Adolf Frederick of Sweden. Now, this wasn't some grand assassination. No noble last stand. Oh no! Our boy, Adolf died of, wait for it, ... eating too much. This absolute unit of a monarch, known ironically as the King of Eating, literally binged himself into the afterlife in 1771. He had a feast of lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, smoked herring, and champagne, then decided to top it off with 14 servings of his favorite dessert, semla pastries, swimming in hot milk. 14! What in the actual hell, people? This wasn't a king. This was a human food disposal unit. Imagine telling your grandkids, yeah, Grandpa died because he couldn't stop shoving pastries down his gullet. Dante, you think this guy acted like every influencer, doing a 24-hour food challenge for likes, only with terminal consequences? Tell me in the comments, what's the dumbest way you've ever seen someone almost die from overindulgence? And speaking of truly pathetic exits, let's talk toilet tragedies. You think your morning routine is a private affair? Not for the royal. King George II of Great Britain in 1760 decided that a dignified death was far too mainstream. The man suffered an aortic dissection, a polite way of saying his main artery ripped itself to shreds while straining on the privy. Yes, a king mid-dump organs, quite literally rupturing, probably thinking, well, this is an awkward way to meet my ancestors. What an utterly undignified end for a man who ruled an empire. You'd think with all that power, he could at least die in a gold-plated bed, not with his pants around his ankles. It's like something out of a bad slapstick comedy, isn't it? If you had to pick a less than glamorous exit, would you prefer the King George II special or maybe something equally embarrassing like tripping over your own feet down the stairs? Share your point of view below. You say. Now, for something truly mind-boggling, let's turn to Tycho Brahe, the Danish noble and astronomer, whose death in 1601 could easily fit into a category of exploding organs, or at least exploding bladders. Brahe, a renowned scholar, was at a banquet when he apparently refused to leave the table to relieve himself, deeming it a breach of etiquette. For 11 hours, this genius sat there, holding it in, until his bladder ruptured, leading to a slow, agonizing death from uremia. The man mapped the stars, discovered supernovas, and then died because he couldn't excuse himself to pee. It's the ultimate hold my beer moment in history, isn't it? This guy had the self-control of a toddler who knows he is getting a treat if he just waits. Seriously, what level of social anxiety makes you choose death over a bathroom break? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you couldn't leave, even when nature called? Let me know. Were your social graces more important than your immediate biological survival? But wait, it gets even dumber. Let's delve into the tragicomic demise of King Martin I of Aragon, whose reign ended in 1410 not with a bang, but with a belly full of eels and a fatal giggle fit. The story goes that after consuming an entire plate of eels, the king was told a particularly hilarious joke by his jester. Martin, already suffering from severe indigestion, burst into a fit of uncontrollable laughter, so violent that he convulsed and died. Yes! He literally laughed himself to death, fueled by a seafood overdose. It's like a scene from a twisted cartoon where the character S' stomach just gives up. What a legacy. Here lies Martin the humorous, whose cause of death was officially too much fun and too many eels. This dude was basically that one friend who refuses to admit they refill and then proceeds to spontaneously combust from a bad joke. If you had to choose between dying from overeating or laughing too hard, which incredibly embarrassing fate would you prefer to avoid? Drop a comment with your nope. Not for me, death. And for our grand finale of historical ineptitude, let's talk about the tragicomic end of Diogenes of Sinope. Though not a king, his death is legendary for its sheer absurdity and fits our theme of utterly stupid exits. This ancient Greek philosopher, famous for living in a barrel and telling Alexander the Great to get out of his sunlight, supposedly died from eating raw octopus or holding his breath, or even a dog bite. But the most popular and perhaps fitting legend is that he died of eating a raw octopus, which clearly wasn't cooked to proper health code standards. Imagine being one of the greatest cynics lampooning society's norms only to be undone by a raw he literally bit off more than he could chew. It's like if Steve Jobs had died trying to upload his consciousness to an iPad and accidentally bricked his own brain. You can't make this stuff up! This is why you always cook your seafood. People, seriously, if you had to bet money on which of these historical figures was actually the smartest, despite their exit, who would it be? Diogenes, King George, or the pastry enthusiast? Vote 1 for Diogenes, 2 for George, 3 for Adolf, or 4 for Martin in the comments right now. So, there you have it, folks. A glorious parade of cringe-worthy royal deaths, proving that power, wealth, and fancy crowns do absolutely nothing to protect you from the universe's twisted sense of humor or your own spectacular idiocy. From toilet tragedies to exploding organs or bladders, history is just one long blooper reel of humanity's failures. These rulers, these so-called titans of their time, ended their reigns with a pathetic whimper, not a bang. It's a stark reminder that no matter how important you think you are, a pastry, a pee break, or a bad joke can always bring down the midi. Before you click away, what was the most utterly ridiculous way someone should have died in history, in your opinion? Let your dark imagination run wild. If this brutal autopsy of the past tickled your morbid funny bone, do me a solid. Like this video? Subscribe to Midnight Meme Historia for more uncensored dives into history's punchline and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into the ridiculous. And remember, the more you comment and share, the more pathetic royal deaths we can dissect together. Thanks for watching, you beautiful degenerate.